and welcome to another evening of frank conversation here on Hard Copy, coming to you from our studios in Abuja. I'm Maokpe Ogun Yusuf. In April this year, the federal government launched a 200 million naira cancer health fund to help indigent patients combating the various manifestations of the illness. While a register is being compiled to ensure that only those who cannot afford treatment have access to the funds, a number of health institutions are also investing heavily in their facilities to ensure that they're able to serve patients with the care that they need within familiar environments using our own Naira. Now, one of those institutions which has and is still investing heavily in this area of specialization is the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital. On Hard Copy tonight, we speak with its Chief Medical Director, Professor Ahmed Ahijo, on the rationale behind this investment in a climate that perhaps could record even better health indices if invested, say, in less complicated areas. Professor Ahmed Ahijo, welcome to Hard Copy.
Thank you very much.
Well, let me begin by saying well done for all that you've been doing in service to our nation. And you have been serving as a doctor and also a professional for a very long time. If my research is correct, at least 24 years. What has that been like serving in Maiduguri, particularly in the years of insurgency?
Thank you very much. Maybe first the point of correction. I've been working as a doctor for 30 years. As a medical doctor, and most of the work that I have done is the academic field, the professional, from training to service provision to training others, now to leadership position within and outside the country within the period of 30 years. Well, it's always good to see that you do your best to serve your own people. I think that's the best thing that can happen to anybody, to have an opportunity to give back to the society that brought you up.
Your resume records you as being the first ever radiologist in the West African region. Before cancer became a rather known disease, what prompted you to pursue this aspect of medicine?
After studying medicine, I went to specialize as a radiologist for 6 years post-graduate training program at University of Maiduguri and University College Hospital, Ibadan. And then after that, now coming to the point, I went and super subspecialized in interventional radiology. That is an aspect of radiology in which, in addition to the radiology that we know, where we doctors sit down and make diagnosis, they do ultrasound scan, they give you a report with diagnosis, you do MRI, you do CT scan, and give you this highly specialized area of radiology is we do minimally invasive treatments using image guidance. That is without opening the patient much, yet we go in with the diseases. So this is the area that is new that I really brought into the West Africa. Yeah. I believe it's blossoming very well. We have many members now, and many centers are coming up for the training. We have formed an association. I was the pioneer president of the Association of International Radiologists in the country. Thank you.
Well, thank you for that. I just wanted to know what prompted you, because we know that specializing in this particular area of medicine is very rare, and you must have done it at a time when it was not popular. So what precisely prompted you to do it at that time?
Yeah, I gave the story several times, but usually in my life, I really want to fill in a gap. I usually identify a gap that there is a need to fill in that gap. So I saw a gap in the country and the region. Hitherto, virtually all the patients must travel outside the country to get such treatments. It's not available. So in 2005, if you recall, the then President Olusegun Obasanjo, he came up with create some teaching hospitals. And, we were part of the team, led Professor Akin Kube and Professor S.B. Lagundoye. We went to Germany, we went to Netherlands, we went to Austria, we went to France, in pursuit of equipments that will modernize the Nigerian diagnostic and therapeutic systems. So when we went to Paris, there is one hospital that is called North Hospital. There is a professor, Professor Dennis Foster, and he called us to come and see this technology in which they do fibroids without opening. They can embolize the fibroid and treat it without operating the patient. Blood vessels, they can do angioplasty and open them. Liver cancers, they can do embolization and block the hole. It's so exciting to me when I saw it. It's a real gap that we don't have. So when I came back, I said, I must do this. That's how I have to go back to Austria for a training, to train there, and have to go to the United States, having for the Institute of Radiology, to have further training in this area. And then I came back. The equipment was not very, very expensive. The cath lab, even as far back as 2005, not be less than 500 million naira. One cath lab. We didn't have it. So I have to struggle to have one in my degree at the end of the day. We started training subsequent ones in the other parts of the country to fill in. Thank you.
Well, as we now know, we've been told cancer is now very widespread and it doesn't seem to spare any organ in the body. We were told that there's a high prevalence of breast cancer, prostate, all manners of cancers. How big a problem is it in the Northeast where you are?
Yeah, the cancer burden is very large, and Northeast, when I took over as the Chief Medical Director of University of Medical Teaching Hospital, the Northeast was then the only region in the country that doesn't have a linear accelerator for treatment of cancer. You may recall the Northeast is a region that is having a population of about 33 million people, comprising of Borno, Adamawa, Yobe, Taraba, Bauchi, and Gombe states. And all these states, there wasn't any linear accelerator for treatment of cancer. So when I took over, I say, this is a gap that need to be filled. So we struggled very much with the assistance of so many people to come up with our own cancer center, that we said because of the distance that we have from other parts of the country, we make sure that the equipment that we have, we should not restrict ourselves to having one at a time. We must have a backup. So if we are having one linear accelerator, we must buy another one so that we can have two. We're having brachytherapy, we must buy another one so that we can have two. Because if you have one, if it spoils, then it break down, you have to send your patients to another center, which is very difficult. So, and start it all over again. So now at University of Maidugui's Teaching Hospital, we have the most modern cancer center in the West African sub-region, with 2 linear accelerators, 2 brachytherapies, the CT scanner for CT planning. I believe it's been a very good decision. We have to thank the federal government, all the stakeholders for ensuring that, yes, this our dream is a reality. Now people from all other parts of the country and other parts of West African countries are coming to access this service. And more so because of the economic situation of our own people. We made it is the cheapest in the country. As of today, I believe University of Maiduguri charges about 500,000 naira for a session of treatment. In the National Hospital, it should be around 800,000 or so. Lagos University Hospital is about 1 million or slightly above. And all the others, they are far, far, far than what we have. But we believe the essence is to help treat cancer patients so that they can get the service that is needed within their own region. They don't have to travel out, and let it be affordable. That's our own motto, the cancer center.
I hear you when you say that, you are perhaps the cheapest in the country in terms of, cancer care. But if you also still ask, cancer care by itself is always very expensive. 500,000 now, which you've just mentioned, is usually way beyond the reach of many citizens, many people who go to the hospitals. Is there any other, or are there any other areas that you're exploring to see how it is that this can be made more affordable, particularly for indigent patients?
Yeah, first, your question is absolutely right. But the first question that will have come is, why is it that expensive? Why is it not like malaria parasite test or malaria drug that is 1,000, 2,000? You get a test done, and you go and buy the malaria drug, maybe another 2,000. First, the cancer treatment equipment. I believe they are one of the most expensive equipments to be procured in the hospital sector. The only equipments that, my knowledge, that would be more than cancer equipment is nuclear medicine. A linear accelerator, one linear accelerator, the lower ones, as of today, would not be less than 1 billion per one machine. And the high-end ones, like the ones that we have, they may be ranging between 2 billion to maybe 4 billion. Now, we have CT scanners that may be approaching 800 million for just CT planning of the lesion. And also brachytherapies now, they are approaching 500 million per one. So the question is the machines and the maintenance. You need overhead to maintain them. One is electricity. You have to have 24-hour electricity to these machines. It's one of the challenges that we have. So the second is the maintenance of the cancer treatment equipment is very expensive. Mostly it's not like we get engineers from places to come and do. You have to go into maintenance service agreement with the manufacturer, the original equipment manufacturer. And it costs averagely between 5 to 10, mostly 10% of the cost of the equipment to maintain it annually. Imagine if you buy an equipment 1 billion, you need 100 million to maintain that equipment. Now, where do we get such money to maintain it?
Well, Prof, we do know that infrastructure is one thing. Capacity of trained personnel is another thing. We've heard about how oncology nurses, for instance, are pretty scarce to come by in the country. And we also know that the medical sector is one area that has suffered brain drain. How are you coping with that, especially with running this cancer facility in your hospital?
Well, January has been difficult. But as I mentioned earlier, everything that you need to do needs proper plan. It's not just that you say one day you dream and you come up say, I want to have a cancer center. What is it? I'll buy machines and bring them. It won't work. You must have a strategic plan, holistically done in such a way. You look at the infrastructural need, you look at the equipment need, you look at the human capacity needs, collaborations that you are likely to have. So we look at it in all angles.
What I want to know is how you're able to retain your medical personnel, because you will certainly need manpower to run it. And oftentimes what we've seen is that for reason of better areas, better working conditions, we've been losing quite a number of our personnel. How have you been able to retain yours in the facility?
Yeah, I think the first thing that you do in such projects is to have people that you share the same vision and mission with. Sit down, get all the stakeholders that you need to work with. Tell them that this is actually the mission that you want to accomplish for the purpose of helping the people, this particular community. Let them agree to share the vision, work together with you as a team. So most of them, we have to counsel them, we have to mentor them, that this is what we want from day one, so that they are part of the success story. Mentoring is very, very. That does not mean that you will not lose some of them. I have one of the clinical oncologists now. You cannot, there is no way you can hold such thing. But most of them will stay. And as you said, cancer treatment, you have a lot of experts. From the clinical oncologist, whose training here in Nigeria takes almost between 5 to 6 years to train one. You need the therapy radiographers. Also, after finishing a degree program as radiographers, they have to go for further training to be converted to therapy. You have the clinical physicist, that's the medical physicist, which in addition to having a first degree in physics, they have to go and do masters in medical physics and also go and do clinical residency training program in medical physics. You have the nurses that you mentioned. So there are a lot of range of staff that are professional. It's not just one group. So all of them, you have to sit down, get sure that you get a team, and then you work with a team. And then that's option one. Option two, you must have collaborations with the other institutions around you that have similar services that they give.
I'm afraid I have to interrupt you now. What would you say to people who, because there have been talk about how cancer, oftentimes when people hear about cancer, they think it's a death sentence. And we seem to have a pretty high mortality when it comes to cancer. It's been attributed to late presentation. How would you say that the Nigerian government, and indeed Nigerians, especially in the medical sector, go about enlightening Nigerians on the symptoms, early awareness, which we believe can lead to more survival rates? Is this something that you're also passionate about?
Very well. But first, let me say cancer is not a death sentence. If detected early, and treatment is given promptly. I think most of them, they live a very good quality life with a long duration also. Now, the preventive aspect of the cancer, I think, is very, very important. Before catching it, ensure that what are the risk factors, what are the challenges that leads to the development of the cancer. Avoid them. Most of them are habits. Avoid those habits and ensure that you live a clean life. We know some of them, the environmental factors are unavoidable, but there are ways that you minimize them. So I think the government also must be really applauded for doing that. If you recall last week, the First Lady of Nigeria have organized with the other First Ladies across the region. They came in large number for cancer awareness, collaboration with Federal Ministry of Health and the National Cancer Institute. And it was organized in Abuja, and it was very, very good. A lot of interaction from the cancer survivors, patients living with cancer, the academia, the professional group, the lawmakers, the leaders, the first ladies of many states. All those stakeholders were all in Abuja. The awareness campaign was done. I believe extending this to various states, various institutions will help. Once you see such things and you go and see a doctor, once it's diagnosed early, you realize the treatment changing. But I believe it's good to have a lot of funding in terms of preventive medicine so that we don't even get the cancer. Then now screening programs like the cervical cancer, breast cancer, or for mammals and other forms of screening, they are very vital. They are standard. The ministry have a standard programs for such things and guidelines also for the medical professions, how to go about it. So I think it's a good thing to have cancer awareness. Our philanthropists and other healthcare development partners also, they should invest in preventive aspect as much as also ensuring that those that have the cancer are treated promptly and adequately to improve their quality.
In the next, say, 3 to 4 years, where do you envision that cancer care should be in Nigeria?
Yeah, we look at a country in which we'll have more human capacity. One of the things that we discussed is training more in the area of cancer professions. The National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria and the West African College of Surgeons, they are the ones that really train specialists in clinical oncology. So I think working with them, especially the National Postgraduate Medical College, which is our own, to improve the quantity of the specialists that are being produced annually. You realize as of today, as we are talking, is my own faculty. Averagely, per 6 months, we produce 2 to 3 for the whole of Nigeria. So this is very, very inadequate. And they cannot do training without infrastructure and facility, because you need to have the equipment, you need to have the patients, you need to have the teachers to train. So if these are lacking again, now production will be affected. So we look at all those factors to see how can we increase the production of the doctors, the nurses, the radiographers, the medical physicists. So increasing the production will really make us now look at the infrastructure too. And they all work hand in hand. Without infrastructure, there won't be application for training. So without human capacity, you cannot have application. So we have to set the ball running so that we go into the cycle of the production. So I think general infrastructural development is needed to ensure manpower training.
Thank you so much, Professor Ahmed Ahijo, for your time on Hard Copy.
Thank you.
Well, that's the program tonight, but we want to hear from you. So please use the handles showing on your screen. Thank you for watching. I'm Maokwe Ogun Yusuf. Good night.